Well, hello and welcome back to another week on my allotment. And if you're in the UK, you will be aware that the cold weather has arrived, thankfully. Always good to get some cold weather. It gives me an excuse to have the fire on all day, which I will. Work has quietened down now. You can imagine there's not a lot I can do in people's domestic gardens at this time of the year with this weather. I've got enough to keep me busy for about five hours a day. And on the allotment, I've got a few jobs. I've taken the advice of a couple of my subscribers, which I shall mention in a moment. And of course, at home, I'm surviving without Cheryl. 1 week she's been away. And if you walked around the house, you might notice that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to her coming back. Let's put it that way. So yeah, a few jobs to do. But I'm going to start off now by going up and having a cup of tea in the warm shed, and then I'll show you what I mean about taking the advice of some of my subscribers. Right, a couple of things that were mentioned to me this week by subscribers, and I thank them for it. One is, leave this green manure and let the cold weather drop it. Well, I'm gonna leave it, but I have to say it's stood up pretty well. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it has stood up pretty well to these cold temperatures and frosts. And we've had a frost pretty much every day this week. So yeah, I'm going to leave it and let it take its course. The second thing relates to top dressing beds. And this one was mentioned by Graham, and he's mentioned this to me a couple of times, and I could sense his frustration with my with my ignorance on the last comment. And you know, I've thought long and hard about it, and he's absolutely right. These beds do not need feet of manure and heavy compost digging into them every year. I mean, I see Charles Dowding puts an inch of compost, if that, on his beds every autumn, and that is it for the year. So I mean, Graham's got access to seaweed. Well, I haven't, but that's just another medium. So what I've done is I've collected these leaves from one of my customers, and I've just put it on the bed, and I'm going to leave it, and we will watch this over the winter months and see it drop down and be taken in by the worms and other such organisms. So oddly, there's an apple there. I never put that there. Anyway, yeah, so that's what I've done. And of course, there's no better medium for improving the soil than leaf mould. And so I'm going to watch with interest to see these leaves disappear. And I can go further than that. Those leaves I've just showed you are just raked up off the ground. The leaves in these 6 bags have been mowed up, so they've already started the process, and today I'm going to empty them on the gooseberry or the fruit bed, and again I'm going to leave them over winter. I don't think there's enough to give it a really good top dressing, so I go back to the same garden on Thursday, and I shall do the same next weekend and double the amount. But I think that can make a significant difference to the goodness of the soil, as we don't have manure, and we haven't had for over a year. Well, of course, the ground is frozen right now, so there's nothing to be done there, but that's the beds there, 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 and here that I have dug out and put my own half-rotted allotment compost in. So I've managed to do a few. In fact, I've done this one as well. This is the garlic. I think garlic's fairly hardy. I don't think this frost is going to do too much damage to the garlic, or indeed the onions. That bed is now complete. I mean, the onions I've put in this week are particularly small, but I'm sure they'll be fine. And the temperatures later on today are going to be up to about 4 degrees, so all this frost should disappear. as the mist clears. Let's hope. And on up here, the pond is well and truly frozen. I dropped a bottle in yesterday knowing that these cold temperatures were coming, and there's a small hole there. I just lifted the bottle out just to provide an air hole for frogs or such things if they want to come out or go in, etc. But if the cold temperatures persist, that will freeze over fairly quick. Right, back to the shed. My hands are frozen. The customer whose leaves I managed to mow up also had a large, substantial oak tree fall down about a year ago. And although he's got a wood burner, he simply can't use the volume of wood he's got. So he's said to me, please take it. I don't want it to rot. So I'm helping myself. And the tree surgeon that dealt with the tree chopped it into circular slices. And what you can see here is, I did some yesterday, but part of one of those circular slices that I rolled up and put in my van. So this will be saved for next year for the wood burning stove. But yeah, I'm doing very well for wood. So this will be chopped again today. Gives me another job to do, because I can't do anything on the allotment really as such. Eyes down, looking for some useless information. Dinosaur skeletons are increasingly bought by wealthy private collectors because museums can't afford them. The Cat and Cabinet Museum in Amsterdam has works of art by Rembrandt, Toulouse-Lautrec and Picasso, but only the ones featuring cats. Not a fan. The tagline for the National Poo Museum on the Isle of Wight is, "Have you been?" Well, I never knew that. The more interesting bit of information is that there is a National Poo Museum at all. I would love to go there. Probably be a shit day out. That was cheap, wasn't it? That was cheap. Berlin has a curried sausage museum. Not so keen to go to that. The smell of Play-Doh is trademarked. Valium is present in potatoes. Alcohol is 114 times as dangerous as marijuana. And yet guess which one is illegal? Well, thank God it's not the other one. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was banned in Malaysia because morphin sounds a bit like morphine. Isn't it crazy, all the things we ban, while all the things that genuinely kill people are quite perfectly happy? Could it be something to do with money, do you think? Groin once meant the snout of a pig. Dogs inhale through their nostrils and exhale through slits on the side of their noses. A poodle-rottweiler cross is called a rottipoo, a rottidoodle, or a rottweiler poo. All Jack Russells are descendant from a dog called Trump. Dogs visiting the US national parks can be certified as bark rangers. The first public parks in the US were cemeteries. In the 1840s, Mount Auburn Cemetery ranked alongside Niagara Falls as the nation's most popular tourist attraction. I guess that's got to be somebody famous buried there. Yeah, mildly interesting. Right, I suppose I better go out there and get cold. Well, they made it. They've covered the whole bed. I might still put more on. I'm quite happy with that. And you know, I've read it so many times. The best thing you can do for your soil to improve it is add leaf mould. Well, of course, that's not leaf mould, but time and nature will make it so. So, time well spent. See, I do listen, Graham. And despite this freezing weather, when I looked closely this week, the snowdrops are starting to just gingerly poke their growing tips out. Something to look forward to in the new year. That is not a thin film of ice. That is rock solid. Right, I'm proud to show you the completed, what we used to call in the army a thunderbox. Can't think why. But yeah, compostable toilet. So basically it's just a white box. It's got handles so that I can move it about. And then the conventional toilet lid with soft close. But inside, don't worry, there is no human waste yet in this. Yes, inside is a black bucket, and in the bottom of that bucket is sawdust ready for its first deposit. So if the lid will go down slowly, sorry about the wait. I didn't know it was soft close when I ordered it. Obviously that goes up. When it's full, I can take that out. The lid actually fits inside, so if I'm not going to use it for a while, I'm assured that the sawdust negates any smells. But if that's not quite true, then there's a lid that you can put on it when it's not in use. I think I might put a sticker or something on there, because when you close this and you open it up, you can't tell there's a lid on it. And you can imagine the kind of disaster that might ensue if someone isn't aware that there's a lid on it. So yeah, that comes out, taken to the compost heap, or the lid put on and sealed and left for a year. Either way, I'm very pleased with it. And this is more really to do with next year, which I will tell you about in my first episode in 2024. But yeah, the toilet is now complete. Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed my day. I took it fairly steady. The ground is still frozen, although it's now plus 4 degrees. So there's only so much you can do out there. I put some more chippings into the compost heap. You saw me chopping up finally the Brussels sprout leaves. That's where I need to focus my efforts and improve, and that is the composting. I've spoke about it before. I just need to be patient, take my time, but everything that goes into that compost bay must be finely chopped. So that aside, I've had a good tidy up around here, cleaned out the tool shed, chopped a bit more wood. A lot of that wood that you saw me chopping is for the house, and that's for the following winter, next winter, because this winter we have more than enough. So yeah, I've had a good day. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. Spent a lot of time in the shed, keeping warm, drinking brews. But the big thing is that the compost toilet is now fully functional and ready to start receiving deposits. There's not really a lot more to say about that, other than it'll take quite a while to fill. I will do my best. But as and when I fill the first bucket and decide what I'm going to do with it, then I will come back to you and let you know. We'll say no more on the subject. I have no doubt that I will post again at least once before Christmas, and probably I'll get in another one after Christmas and before New Year, but I'm not really sure. But I've got the usual annual sweep of the allotment month by month yet to post, so I will see you again soon. So until I do, look after yourselves, take care, and bye for now.